Describing a game as old-fashioned or stuck in the past often just means it's not worth playing. But many of us remember that some of those old games were magnificent. And while traditional publishers have moved on to the latest and greatest trends in gaming, a small group of crowd-funded games have revitalized some long-neglected genres. The Kickstarter-funded Divinity Original Sin is hoping to bring some magic back to the isometric perspective dungeon crawler with a mix of proven gameplay and new ideas. Before we get into specifics, it's important to note that the version of the game we played is still very much an alpha version. Glitches abound, quests are bugged, and some parts of the game are just plain not there. Rough edges are everywhere, but it's important to look past the clutter and find the game buried underneath. Adventuring in Divinity begins with 2 customizable characters, and players can acquire additional party members as they progress. There are 3 starting classes: Mage, Warrior, and Ranger. You'll level up through combat, exploration, and completing quests, unlocking new abilities and increasing your stats as you go along. All of it is pretty standard, but that also means it's easy to pick up and play if you have any experience with similar types of games. Combat is turn-based, with player characters and enemies in a mixed queue based on initiative. Each action or movement requires action points, and characters usually have enough points to perform several attacks each turn. Although combat requires some tactical awareness, experience level, and combat power can certainly trump strategy in many instances, so be careful when you go wandering outside town in the early game. There is plenty of opportunity for turn-based battling, but Divinity will have players spending the majority of their time doing actual role-playing. As an example, the first section of the game asks the player to solve a murder mystery. Sleuthing through this whodunit scenario requires exhaustive exploration of a town. One clue was located in a hidden basement behind a secret door. Another clue was in a locked chest, and since we couldn't find a key anywhere in town, we resorted to attacking it for several minutes until it broke apart. It was often hard to discern where the next clue might be found and exactly what we were supposed to be doing, so it really is up to the player to find their way through any given situation. Talking to the locals is also a big part of the game, and that's done through a simple text interface. Many of the decisions you make have consequences for the miniature dramas that play out through each quest. We gave some bad advice to some dim-witted guards and came back later to find them dead. Though not enabled in the alpha, Divinity appears to be built around co-op multiplayer. You and your friends will be able to adventure in the same party, and everyone will get a say in role-playing decisions. A level editor allowing players to make and share their own quests and areas is also promised as part of the final build. It's still too early in the development process to say if Divinity Original Sin is going to be worthwhile, but it's fair to say the game has potential, and is more than worth another look when it's closer to its release date of February 28th.